I'm gonna do Broken after this. We Skeem dropped this recently, so this will get more views if I put this out first. But I love it. I'm going to uh talk about my perspective of the song because that's just what, a reaction or a review or whatever you want to call this is. Because as an you know we just give your perspective of the song, even if I don't like make it clear, it's still my perspective of it. And that's, I just like to go in depth with stuff and talk about it in my perspective. So if you're expecting just something that's literally just, you know just listen to the whole song all the way through and then say, oh, that's pretty good, no, I ain't doing that. Anyway, it's 100% beef, and let's dig right into the underground music. I commented on this and I said, good song, dude. We see him wearing the mask, aka his music. She got it frown when he wore the mask, aka she didn't like all the time he spends on music or who he became with the music. When Skeem shows his face or true self, she's always happy on screen. That was my theory, and he said it was an interesting take, and he liked it. But in his view, the unmasked self was the lie. Fake happiness. My real self is behind the mask. So, keeping that in mind, like, you just see this woman and we Scheme. I don't know if this is actually Mrs. Scheme. Let me know down in the comments. I just didn't look into it, but she seems like I said, happy when he has no mask on. So that's like just him kind of, you know, faking his happiness, like he said. So he is welcomed, because mental health sometimes is hard to deal with for anyone, or dealing with it with somebody else is always a challenge, and it's okay. It's like, I have mental health too. It's like, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, that's the basis of the song, and that's, um he's he's he wants her, he's trying to be, not have the mask on, aka being himself, or just allowing him to go through his emotions and depression and stuff like that to show her. And when that happens, she just looks away and gets frustrated, because that's, him being unstable, as he says later on, as we'll get to. But, just when he's smiling and being fake, she likes that a lot more, because it's a lot easier to deal with, but it's a lot harder on Wee Scheme's mental health. Anyway, with that said, let's continue. I like this beat. It sounds like repetitive in a good way. In a good way. Da-na-na, na-na-na-na-na. Like cycle. Like it's a cycle of, Wee Scheme, uh, you know, his mental health ruining, but also then um him able to control it better, in my opinion. That's what I think it means. And able to fake happiness more. And it's a whole cycle. So that's kind of going with the metaphor, like, oh, it's a cycle with this happening. Also, if you notice, there's, when he has his mask on, the white car is in front, but when he doesn't, the other car is in front. I'm ahead of myself. That's just something I noticed.
I think you know that I'm anxious. I think we know that I fake this. I think we're both losing patience. I'm not too far from a patient.
So, losing patience, I can relate to that a lot. There's this one girl that I think is willing to date me, but it's like we've been down that road so many times that we kind of both lost patience. But in this context, he's talking about in a relationship, like just losing patience with the mental health, like I was explaining earlier. But also, he says he's not too far from a patient. A patient, that's is a similar word, but it means different things. Like patience, being patient, but also he said he's not too far from a patient, meaning he's not too far from getting into the mental hospital or something like that, or her being his nurse and taking care of him. I'm sure that's how he feels uh, in certain aspects with his mental health anyway. Um, I can relate to that a lot. A lot of relationships I'll probably be the one that they'll have to be carried because I just can't do it. I'm on the autism spectrum, so it's kind of, and like some other things too, that just get in the way of a lot of things. So like working full time and stuff like that. But we'll get to that.
I know I'll never be healthy, I know I'll never be able, but let's pretend like we're wealthy.
See, that line hits because I feel like I'm never gonna be able to make a bunch of money with my diagnosis and my autism, which is technically a disability. So,
and then my mind remains stable. Lie to me, say I make you happy.
I like that part. I really like that part when he looks like you can tell it's a first sight. Like he's like looking out the window a little bit and then back like this,
Tell me that life's easy with me and I'm not a burden to you.
A lot of the relationships, like I said, because my diagnoses, that I feel like a burden to anyone who I date because I'm on the autism spectrum and I'm always like, here's normal people and here's me, and then here's people that have more severe autism than I do. So it's like I never can quite fit in either category, which is pretty rough. But anyway,
what I need from you, please lie to me.
so this song is beautifully sung, and it's really catchy. But what I want to point out is, Skeem is so stuck in his delusions, or I don't know how else to put it. He wants to be lied to. He wants to have this fantasy that that he feels that she makes him happy. Other way around, that he makes her happy. I like that in the music video. It literally was like, what I need from you is to lie to me, and then he switched back to his mask or himself, and she just wasn't having it in the video. And I don't know if this is about Mrs. Skeem or someone before that, but either way, man, it's really deep. That's sad. Like, knowing you want a facade, not only with your outer, how you look physically, you want to put on a facade, but also you want her to lie to you and say that he doesn't want to hear the truth. In other words, he wants her to lie to him and say, yeah, you make me happy and life is easy with you and I'm not a burden. But he knows that, even in the harshest, like, I don't mean this in a harsh way, but Skeem has autism like me and other mental health, so he just feels like a burden, and this is coming from his head. And maybe there is times that, she struggles with him with certain things, but ultimately, like, in a good relationship, all that is worth it. If you truly love somebody. So even if she has to quote unquote put up with some of what you go through, which is totally out of your control and is perfectly legitimate and understandable, then she'd be happy to just put up with some of what you go through. I know it's hard, and I know you probably feel like, oh, I'm getting depressed again, and it's hard on her, because I'm sure the song is in the perspective of Skeem and how his insecurities. So anyway,
let's pretend that I'm barely broken. Let's amend all the words I've spoken. Call me friend without even joking, then rescind all the hate that broken. Say I'm normal, my mind's not toxic, it's not genetic, my son didn't get it. Say all the tests were wrong, tell me that I only act like this in song.
Now that part is interesting. Tell me I only act like this in song. He wishes this, like, his music was for Sod, because that means that he'd be more normal. And like, that'd suck though, because literally, like, he'll be faking everything, but that would make sense. So you would want to be normal, rather be normal and be faking everything he's going through than actually going through it, because it's hard. That's the real line there. And his double vocals here are amazing.
Lie to me, say I make you happy.
That part when you just like, lie to me, and then he like crosses down. I don't know what it's about that, but that part, just like when I said earlier about him like looking out the window a little bit, fake smiling and looking back, it's just so cool, like both of those things.
Tell me that life's easy with me, and I'm not a burden to you. What I need from you, please lie to me.
So this part, I take it as the lower voices, him being fake, without the mask, and when he's with the mask, that's the one singing really more emotional, because that first one is the more chill one is more a serenade, but then the one that's more emotional is more anxious and emotional. I don't know how to say it, like, just, so that's like him just begging. That's like losing, like, that's his real self and his fake self in harmony, in a way. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful. And it's a shame, because, like, when I say fake, I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, a lot of this, like, fake our happiness and stuff just to look better. I'm the type of person that I could be totally miserable but still cracking jokes and stuff. Sometimes it's easy to see it on my face, but sometimes it's just easy to just joke around and pretend like nothing's wrong, which I definitely relate to that. I like how much it switches to from the fake self and the real self. Just, especially at the end, to show you how bipolar it is with, like, just someone with mental health, and like how confusing it probably is. That's the best way to describe it. Like, oh, I'm I have control of it. No, I not. Now I do. No, I don't. You know, that type of thing, and that's real. That's really real. Um, but also this kind of relates to me with my dad because I kind of feel like a burden, like a family, burden because of everything I go through, and they have to take care of me and stuff. So not only do I relate with it relationship wise, I relate to it that way too. But yeah, it's so I love this song. And just at the end, I like how it just fades out like it was in the beginning. Kind of just another way of saying it's a cycle, you know. Um, like this song, the music just it sounds energetic. It's like it sounds like an energetic um empty track. Like you're literally trying to force yourself to be energetic and happy, but it's just not happening. It has that pop feel to it, and I love it. I love it. I just hope everything's okay with you and Mrs. Skeem, we Scheme. It's none of my business, but it's just in the song, so I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna call this a reaction. I don't really have too much to say about this song. I just did it more because it's gonna be. This is a newer song and it's gonna get more views. So, but like I said, I'm gonna do "Broken" right after this, and I relate a lot of to that song. Not the last verse, but we'll get to that in a minute. Leave it a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll put the original song down below in the description so you can go check it out and subscribe to We Scheme. He has lots of talent and he speaks for people with mental health and the people that just didn't really fit right. You know what I mean? And sometimes about people with autism too. So appreciate you for that forever, dude. And I'll see you when you watch me again, metaphorically.